Straight ahead on OC News, we asked for rain, and boy are we going to get hit hard. As much as 4 inches of rain is expected to fall in the next few days. We'll have a complete story.
A new interdisciplinary program on campus of Cal State Fullerton is helping students get on the edge of competition in the Spanish language media field.
And a couple makes an amazing discovery while digging in their backyard. A pot full of gold to the tune of $10 million. All this and much more, OC News starts right now. Welcome to OC News. I'm Angeline Serrano.
And I'm Tatiana Coover. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
Get ready for the rain. It's already sprinkling in some locations, and lots more rain is on the way. The much-needed rain is coming as a relief to most of us, but a few areas of Southern California are being evacuated as a precaution. Our own Jackie Roman is in the quad of the Cal State Fullerton campus, where the clouds are getting very dark. Jackie?
Southern California residents are preparing for a much-needed rain. We have storms scheduled throughout the weekend, bringing with it over an inch of rain. You'll need your umbrella. You'll want to leave with plenty of time. Burn areas in the valley are expecting to get mudslides, so fire stations and police departments are dispersing sandbags for those in need. We'll have a live update later on in the show.
For a complete look at how much rain is coming our way, let's turn now to Jose Campos, who has the very latest weather forecast.
Thanks, Tatiana. And actually, we'll be saying goodbye to the usual Southern California weather because starting today in Fullerton, we'll be experiencing a light rainfall with temperatures in between 68s and the mid-50s. But actually, these temperatures will be changing a little bit in Southern California since we got a storm system starting tomorrow. So we might not see too much sunshine at all. We're expecting 79% rain, and then Friday we're expecting a more powerful system to drop rain heavily in the late morning and afternoon. Then we go back to a less rainy day on the weekend. So starting today all the way to Saturday, as you can see right here, the temperatures are going to be in between the 60s and 54s. And across the nation, the south is experiencing lower temperatures as well as the north with a lot of snow. We got New York over here with 28 degrees, Chicago with 11, Miami over here with 85 degrees, San Antonio, Texas with 64 degrees. And actually, finally, in LA, we got 64 degrees, and that's actually including the rain. I will let you with this image of our campus and how the sky is getting ready for that rain. That's all I have for you today. And Tatiana and Angeline, are you ready for the rain? Back to you guys.
Yeah, I just bought a new bathing suit. I don't know if I'm going to be ready for any rain anytime soon.
Even with a tentative peace in Kiev, tensions are heating up on the Ukraine-Russia border. CNN's Fred Plutigan has more.
When tensions fly this high, there's very little room for debate. Thousands of pro-Ukrainian and pro-Russian protesters faced off on the Crimean Peninsula, an area with a substantial Russian population. The question, should Crimea remain Ukrainian or join Russia? Crimea is a Ukrainian territory, this man says, and all these demands to hand it to Russia are totally baseless. On the pro-Russian side, a very different view. Crimea should be Russian, he says. In Russia, there are many cultures, and they all have rights. In Ukraine, languages are banned and marginalized. One protester died during the demonstration, even as a line of police and local leaders tried to keep the two sides apart.
The situation here shows the deep divisions in Ukrainian society. On the one hand, you have thousands of pro-Russians, and on the other, thousands of pro-Ukrainians. Right now, they're screaming at each other, there's pushing and shoving, but no violence yet.
The large Russian population in southern Ukraine fears they might suffer under the new leadership in Kiev, that the Russian language and Russian culture might be banned. And some are taking the law into their own hands. As we drove past the many Russian military bases near the garrison town of Sevastopol, we saw this: a pro-Russian militia manning checkpoints, together with local police who are clearly not loyal to the government in Kiev. The men had an armored vehicle. They didn't let us film. We took these pictures with our cell phones. The militia answers to this man, Alexei Chali, the new mayor of Sevastopol, elected Sunday in a vote the central government says was illegal. Many here hail him as a champion of Russian interests. Chali says his new force is an anti-terror unit. Because there is grave danger, we are founding an anti-terror center, he says, that will coordinate all of our security forces. Fear, uncertainty, and anger are driving many people in Ukraine out into the streets these days. They feel these are decisive times and might determine the future of their nation. Fred Plykin, CNN, Simferopol, Ukraine.
Cal State Fullerton is continuously recognized for having one of the best educational programs across the nation. And this time, the College of Communications, along with the Spanish department, will launch a new certificate that will change the lives of many. Jose Campos has the latest.
Thank you, Angeline. And today, so we can learn more about this exciting program at Cal State Fullerton, I have here with me Inez Gonzalez, who is the director of the Latino Communications Initiative. Welcome, Inez, and thank you so much for joining us in the show today.
Thank you, Jose, for inviting me.
No problem. And let's start with the first question. So tell us more about yourself and why you decided to join this Latino Communications Initiative.
I was at the National Hispanic Media Coalition for 9 years. I was the executive vice president there. And what I did there is advocate for the industry to hire more Latinos in media and entertainment, because it's a really hard industry, as you know, to get into. And one of the common things that we would hear is we can't find the talent. And so now I'm here at Fullerton, I'm with the talent, and I'm flagging a flag to the industry saying, here's the talent, no more excuses, you need to hire more people of color, more women. So I'm very excited to be here. It just makes sense for me to move from the National Hispanic Media Coalition to Fullerton.
That's really interesting. And, you know, before the show, you were also mentioning that one of the purposes of creating this certificate is to promote students' cultural competency. So how is Cal State Fullerton a good fit for this purpose?
It's really ideal because 1/3 of the student population is Latino, and 54% are first-generation college students. 33% come from low-income families. So it's a perfect place to be because I feel that first-generation college students have a lot more barriers to deal with. There's not a parent that has done it before, and so I'd like to step in and fill in the gaps and bring in my contacts in media and entertainment to help the first-generation students.
That's really good. And, you know, I was reading that the university is also planning to create this certificate in 2 different ways. One with the Spanish language department and the other one with the College of Communications. What is the difference in between these two?
It's a big difference. We have a large population of students that are bilingual, and we're encouraging them to strengthen their Spanish skills in a professional setting. So the Spanish certificate, that's what we're doing, encouraging bilingual students to strengthen their Spanish skills. And in the communications, in the College of Communications, what we want to do is offer competency in the Latino market. It's a huge market. Industries want to connect with this market. So for non-Spanish speakers, if they have a special interest in the Latino market, we're going to have 4 courses that's going to help them learn more about that market.
That's excellent. And do you guys have decided what will be the requirements to graduate with this certificate, and when can the students maybe start getting involved with the program?
So the Spanish department certificate is more advanced, and we plan to launch that in the fall, and it's going to be 4 courses and 1 internship specialized in the Latino market. And then in the College of Communications, we're currently working with faculty to figure out what the 4 courses will be, but it'll be 4 courses and 1 internship, and we're very excited.
That's excellent. So I'm pretty sure those are benefits that all the students are going to enjoy. And how can they contact you? For example, if I say I want to go for this certificate, but I don't know who to contact.
I'm in College Park, and my email is igonzalez with a Z at the end @fullerton.edu.
Excellent. And is there anything else you would like to add?
So right now we're actually doing a research. We're going to be doing research on Latino journalists in the U.S. and we're closing it on February 28th on Friday. Dr. Casaleas is helping me with this. We're taking the pulse of how Latino journalists in the U.S. are feeling about their profession, how they're being challenged by technology. We're very excited, and we're going to be releasing the data at Hispanicize, which is the largest Latino communications conference in Miami. So I'll be in Miami on April 1st giving that information.
Excellent. All right, Nez, it was a pleasure having you here today and sharing about this excellent program that Cal State Fullerton is going to be launching during the fall. This coming fall, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, excellent. So, all right, guys, that's all I have for you today. And back to you, Alexis.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at sports and find out when everyone's favorite childhood scientist will be visiting Cal State Fullerton.
Titan TV is a student-operated facility maintained by students.
It's on the Cal State Fullerton campus, and it's a great opportunity for Cal State Fullerton students to get hands-on experience directly in a studio environment.
Working with Titan TV puts me in this professional environment. Everyone here is really fun to work with, and everyone just gets along so well. I'm having a great time.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday? Banana. 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 Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat? That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Let's go to Jessica Wally, who has some exciting updates from some of our teams on campus.
Thank you, Angeline. While the Titans baseball team travels to Eugene, Oregon to take on the 9th-ranked Ducks this weekend, a showdown of two top 10 teams, Fullerton is ready to prove why they are an elite baseball team. This past week, the Titans hosted the San Francisco Dons in what would be a series win for Fullerton. They dropped the first game, but it took San Francisco 19 innings to edge out the Titans 6-5, the longest game in Fullerton history. The Titans closed out the Dons in style in the last two games as they only allowed the Dons to score 2 runs in the last 31 innings. An 11-0 victory on Saturday and a 5-1 win on Sunday put the Titans back to their winning ways. Women's basketball took a tough defeat at the hands of UC Santa Barbara this past weekend, 64-54. They made plays throughout the game to keep it competitive, but they couldn't overcome an early deficit. They are currently in a 3-way tie for 5th place and can turn their fortunes around tomorrow night and exact some revenge against the CSUN Matadors, who they lost to at home earlier this season. It's still not too late to turn their season around, and we hope the Titans will be hungry enough for a win as they embark on the last 4 conference games of the season. The Titans hosted the number 2 ranked Tennessee Volunteers yesterday evening, but couldn't stop the long ball in what would be an 8-4 loss for our Lady Titans. The Titans struggled off the mound early, giving up 4 runs to Tennessee in the first inning. Even though the Titans matched Tennessee with 3 long balls of their own, Fullerton lacked the timely hits they needed to come back. Fullerton's softball team is still playing well at 11-6 on the season, but they have dropped 3 of their last 4. They'll be able to turn that all around as they co-host the Fullerton Long Beach tournament this weekend with a full slate of 5 games in 3 days for our Titans. In other sports news, Jason Collins made history this week, becoming the first openly gay and active athlete to play in one of America's Big 4 sports leagues. And now many are suiting up their support for number 98. The NBA said Tuesday that Collins' number 98 jersey for the Brooklyn Nets is the top seller on NBA.com. Though Collins has never averaged double digits in any category, he's established a larger fan base since announcing last year that he is gay. The number 98 jersey serves as a tribute to Matthew Shepard, who was murdered in a gay hate crime in 1998. Back to you, ladies.
In Arizona, the debate is heating up over a controversial bill that would allow businesses to deny service to gay customers based on religious beliefs. Supporters say it's a matter of religious freedom. Others simply call it discrimination. CNN's Miguel Marquez reports opposition to the Arizona bill is turning into something bigger.
Protests here turning into a movement. The so-called religious freedom bill now a rallying point for lesbian and gay rights.
I've had a boyfriend for the past 3 years, and I know how I feel about him. And if I felt that way about a girl, then I wouldn't want people telling me I couldn't be with them.
What prompted the bill? Legal cases against businesses with religious owners denying services to lesbian or gay couples seeking to hold a marriage ceremony. A photographer in New Mexico, a florist in Washington State, a baker in Colorado, with support for gay marriage in Arizona now hitting 55% in a recent Rocky Mountain poll. The writing here on the wall.
People who have deeply held religious beliefs don't believe that same-sex marriages, commitment ceremonies, any of that should be taken. They see that as the threat, yes?
That definitely is a part of it. And the crux of the issue here, what they're saying, is that they shouldn't be forced to use their artistic expression, whether it's a photographer, whether it's a cake baker, to celebrate something that they hold a sincerely held religious belief about.
Another concern, reproductive rights. Employees who are opposed to any birth control possibly suing their employers for offering those services through their health insurance. Big companies, including Apple and American Airlines, have asked the governor to veto the bill. A growing storm on several fronts against it.
Frustrating to be where you are now, though?
It's disappointing, and it's sad that we can't have an honest discussion about religious freedom and it turns into this big sort of debacle that it's turned into.
Other conservative groups defending business owners with deep religious beliefs view this as a culture war that is only growing.
We are seeing certainly a growing hostility and a push from the so-called tolerance crowd to say, you know, we're not going to be tolerant towards your views, but you have to bow down to ours.
20 children in California have been affected by a newly discovered virus, and a researcher in Japan believes that crying out of joy is healthier than laughing. Rebecca Walczak has it all.
Researchers believe a rare virus may be linked to a polio-like syndrome, which has caused weakness and paralysis in about 20 children in California. A link between all of the cases hasn't been confirmed yet. Even among the confirmed cases, CNN's Andrew Spencer reports neurologists aren't sure what's causing the illness.
Vikash seems to be one of the luckier ones, having regained some of the strength in his left arm. He's still weak, though, and still going through physical therapy.
I do fine motor skills. I go into the water every day. I work on the floor trying to lift up and down.
We are just keeping our fingers crossed and staying positive and continuing to do this, hoping that whatever recovery he gains, it's going to be a huge help for him.
Vikash is among about 20 children in California that researchers believe have been stricken with a polio-like syndrome over the last 18 months. Sophia is another, though her arm remains paralyzed. Even among the 5 early cases that have been confirmed, researchers aren't entirely sure what's causing the illnesses.
2 of the children, they were able to find a particular virus known as enterovirus 68. You don't need to remember the name, but that's one of the viruses that's in the same family of polio.
Dr. Keith Van Haren has written a report on 5 of the early cases. He plans to present that report in April at the American Academy of Neurology's annual meeting. He, his colleagues, and the parents of some of the affected children are trying to raise awareness to perhaps find other cases and hopefully, eventually, better treatment.
Health officials say, look, we don't think this is at the risk of becoming some widespread thing. We want to find out, are there clusters of cases like this around the country that may better pinpoint what's happening here?
For now, Vikash and the others living with this rare syndrome will continue treatment and make do with what strength they have left. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
An expert in Japan is helping people literally cry for joy. He says a good cry helps rid people of stress and fear longer than a good laugh will. CNN's Vladimir Dutier explains.
We need never be ashamed of our tears, wrote Charles Dickens, but many in Japan disagree. Crying doesn't have a good image in Japan, says Takashi Saga. People believe you shouldn't cry in front of people, that it's weak. Saga is a tears sommelier. Yep, that's his actual title. No different, he says, from the connoisseur who chooses your wine. Selecting wines that matches food is similar to my job, he says. I introduce books, movies, and video that touch people's emotions. And that's what this audience is here for. Twice a month, Saga holds a Ruikatsu, a Crying for Joy seminar. He says when people get emotional and cry, life's burdens, tensions, and frustrations melt away. Laughing can only release the stress at that moment, Saga says, but study shows that the stress released from crying lasts for a week. Crying is better for your physical and mental health.
Some scientific studies back him up. When we cry for emotional reasons, as opposed to the crying we do when cutting an onion, for example, the tears we shed contain the same hormones that are released when the body is under physical stress.
Before the seminar starts, we notice lots of polite bowing and tight-lipped, poker-faced grimaces. And then, a traditional storyteller begins to spin a sad tale. And within minutes, when Saga then shows a video of emotional scenes set to Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, there isn't a dry eye in the house. The story about the parent and the child touches my emotion, says Aya Nemoto, and I can't stop crying. I became highly emotional, says Kengo Suda, and couldn't stop crying. I hardly cry at home, but I cried here. Once it's over, the frowns have disappeared. When it starts, Saga says, some look provocative with a try and make me cry attitude. But when people cry here, they always show us big smiles at the end of the session.
Do you feel now, having come here, that you're going to have a good week, a good month?
Yes, I think so, Nemoto says. I released my stress here. And that seems to release the smiles, even in Japan. Vladimir Dutier, CNN, Tokyo.
It just goes to show you that a good laugh is good every once in a while. That's going to do it for our health segment. Back to you guys in the studio.
A husband and wife are reveling in their good fortune after finding $10 million in rare gold coins buried in their property in Northern California. The Gold Country discovery is thought to be the largest of its kind in U.S. history. And as Joe Vasquez reports, it's inspiring a little gold fever in the region.
The folks here in Auburn and throughout Gold Country love to celebrate a major find, and this latest uncovering of buried treasure is no exception.
I consider myself a gold miner.
Tom Barella lives in Gold Country and finds an occasional nugget now and then.
Thank you very much.
He bought a new metal detector today. The newly disclosed buried treasure find is very much on his mind. $10 million worth of gold coins found in these dilapidated metal canisters, somewhere in Gold Country.
It inspires me. I mean, it's still out there, you know.
An unidentified couple walking their dog found the more than 1,400 coins next to a tree on their property in an undisclosed location a year ago. The coins date back to the mid to late 1800s and are in perfect condition.
And I just about fell out of my chair. You know, this is something you dream about. You do not hear about buried treasures like this.
The coins are being kept at yet another undisclosed location. Why so many secrets? The couple doesn't want to be bombarded with prospectors.
When you hear that, you get a little flutter.
Larry Manger of Big Valley Metal Detectors believes the discovery could be good for his business, as gold fever seems to spike every time there's a big find.
We're going to probably see a big push for people that have property up in the Mother Lode. They're going to want to be searching it. Well, everybody wants to hit the millions.
The couple plans to sell most of the coins on Amazon.com, but will keep some of them to pass through the family as a memento. In Auburn, Joe Vasquez, KPIX 5.
Now to Amanda Newell to find out when Bill Nye will be bubbling up on Cal State Fullerton's campus.
Thanks, Angeline. With me are two very special guests who are going to share the exciting news about Bill Nye coming to campus. With me is Bobby Wright, and he is the current chair for the Natural Science and Mathematics Interclub Council, and Jason Koo, who is the current president for the Business Interclub Council. Thank you guys for coming and sharing the exciting news.
Our great pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
So, first things first, what are you guys going to expect?
Well, so as you know, we have managed to book Bill Nye, the science guy, to come to Cal State Fullerton on March 20th, and we expect a big turnout in Pavilions ABC, and we expect you all to come out to it.
How did you manage getting him to Cal State Fullerton?
I'll go ahead and tell this part of it then. So one day, me in passing, Bobby just sat down with me and said, what do you think about bringing Bill Nye to campus? And I was like, it's going to be pretty hard. But he said, yeah, you know, there's a certain, amount of support we need to get, and so I don't know where to go. And so it was in my council's dreams to bring in a big speaker as well. So I immediately said, you know what, Bobby, I don't think there's much time for my council because our events are coming up really soon. I'm all for Bill Nye, and we jumped on from there. It's been full speed ahead.
No, absolutely. We managed to sit down at an exec senate meeting, and we've just been keeping the ball rolling from there.
Yep. Wow. So the process, then how did you contact him?
So we reached out to his agency and got a response back. He was one of a few different, Class A speakers that we got in contact with, and he was a name that just resonated with a lot of students, especially in our generation. And we just had to move forward with it, and it's been one day at a time, but we finally managed and got a confirmation last week. So
that's really cool. So what should students expect from him?
So that's a question that was really important for my council, because if we were going to help, natural science and mathematics, we had to make sure that business students would be, they would benefit from this event. I love the answer that Bobby gave me at the last meeting. Why don't you go and tell Amanda what you told me?
Absolutely. So when we reached out to the agent, we wanted to get a few specifics on the presentation. What can be expected, because obviously we want to bring a lot of different colleges into this. We don't want it to just be science-based. And the agent basically said, you don't want to pinpoint his presentation. It is incredible, and everybody will love it. And we're like, all right.
I was like, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how long is this presentation going to be?
His presentation should be a little bit over an hour with time for Q&A.
Perfect. So will there be time for students to network with him, or is it just strictly the Q&A?
No, absolutely. So we're hoping to give a lot of students an opportunity to get photos with him. So obviously we're expecting over 1,000 in Pavilions ABC, so maybe not everybody will get a photo, but we're hoping to give as many students the possibility as we can.
Very cool. And last question. What should the students expect? Like, is there something big?
Well, the main reason we're trying to do this event is because we want to show the community and California that Cal State Fullerton is on the rise and we're on the map, and we're going to get better and better. And so I guess for students, though, what they should expect of community members, remember in high school or elementary school when you figured out science class is just going to be Bill Nye, and everyone was like, yeah! That's exactly what you should be expecting this time, but now he's in person, and he's going to be great. So that's what you should probably should expect.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for coming.
Our pleasure. My great pleasure.
All right. Well, I look forward to going to this event and just watching Bill Nye live. And I'll send it back to you guys.
Sign us up.
Yeah, definitely.
+2.
Please.
+2. Stick around for all your Hollywood details when we come back on OC News.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia. Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia. Who says that? Everyone. Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
I really want to show you something.
1, 2, ready, go. L-O-V-E. It's a mystery. All is love. Is love.
Did you play today? For great play ideas, visit www.smallstep.gov.
A very sad addition to the list of shocking celebrity splits occurred on Monday. Sarah Taranarod has your entertainment gossip.
Yes, after 8 years of marriage, Robin Thicke and Paula Patton have officially called it quits by releasing a statement to the media. They said, "We will always love each other and be best friends. However, we have mutually decided to separate at this time." The couple met and started dating as teenagers and got married in 2005, and they also have a 3-year-old son together. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was completely shocked and heartbroken by the split up. 8 years? That's a lifetime in Hollywood. And they were literally just at the Grammys last month, walking the red carpet looking happier than ever. And many suspect Thicke's newfound fame from his Blurred Lines hit was the start of the crumbling marriage. An outrageous amount of recent cheating rumors surfaced after the very sexual VMA performance between Robin Thicke and Miley Cyrus. We all remember how crazy of a performance that was. In a very inappropriate picture that was taken later that night at a VMA after party with Robin Thicke and a 20-year-old blonde also made huge headlines. More pictures of Robin getting a little too close to women who weren't Paula began to surface as well. And sources tell TMZ that after that, it just all spiraled down from there. Thicke reportedly canceled his concert Friday to fly to Vancouver to talk to Patton face-to-face in one last attempt to save their marriage. In his quote, he says, "I want to thank everyone for the well wishes these past few days. My fans mean everything to me. I'm looking forward to getting back out on the road and performing in Washington, D.C. this Thursday and the rest of the tour. Looking forward to seeing everyone out there." And Paula Patton also spoke out by posting this picture on Instagram just a few hours ago with an emoji of a broken heart as her caption. So sad. Best wishes to the both of you and wish you guys luck. And speaking of Miley, did you guys hear about her latest stunt in Los Angeles at her Bangers Tour show? The racy singer was in the middle of a song when she spotted pop singer Katy Perry in the crowd, gestured her over, and planted a juicy kiss in front of everyone. Footage of the moment show Katy willingly puckering up, but quickly turning away when Miley tried to get a little too frisky by turning the kiss into a makeout session. But it was all in good fun. The crowd loved it, and so did the singers. Katy later tweeted a picture of the wild moment with the caption, "And after, I adore you, Miley Cyrus," and a tongue emoji. Other big celebs are also Miley fans. Khloe Kardashian Instagrammed this picture during the show. Kendall Jenner, Kourtney Kardashian, and Hilary Duff also watched Katy and Miley kiss on the sidelines. And I personally was at the concert myself too, and I have to say it was the strangest concert I've ever been to in my life. She slid down a slide tongue, she wore the craziest outfits, and she was floating over the crowd while riding a hot dog. But it was so wild and fun, and that's why we love Miley. So keep doing your thing, girl. And today marks Ryan Seacrest's 10-year anniversary of being on air on LA's #1 hit music station, 102.7 KISS FM. Seacrest took over as host for KISS FM morning show in 2014, and since then has become the most listened to morning radio show in Southern California. The On Air with Ryan Seacrest Instagram page took a trip down memory lane by posting a picture of Ellen and Ryan on their very first show together. I personally love listening to his morning show. I tune in every morning, especially for the Juicy Ryan's Roses segment. You guys know you listen to that too. Well, congrats to you, Ryan. I'm sure you'll be sticking around for a long, long time. Back to you, Tatiana and Angeline.
You know, I love Ryan's roses. It kind of breaks my heart just a little bit, though. But let's find out what's trending this week. Our trend expert Dylan Lujano has the hot details.
Hey guys, I'm Dylan, and this is what's trending now. After looking all through the buzzing headlines, I found some hot topics that we have to talk about. Growing up here, it's pretty normal for kids to eat candy, chips, and soda for all those school time snacks. Kids are bombarded with ads every day telling them it's okay to eat these unhealthy, sugary snacks. So it's no question that obesity has been an ongoing issue. Thanks to First Lady Michelle Obama, obesity rates have dropped 43% among 2 to 5-year-olds in the last decade. Kind of crazy, right? She's pushing a new law now that will make healthy the new norm.
Our classrooms should be healthy places where kids are not bombarded with ads for junk food.
New rules proposed by First Lady Michelle Obama and the U.S. Department of Agriculture would eliminate advertisements for unhealthy food and drinks in schools.
Parents should be in control of their kids' health, and their good efforts at home shouldn't be undermined when they send their kids off to school.
It would mean hallways and scoreboards with Coke or Pepsi advertisements would have to be changed. No logos allowed. The new push comes on the 4th anniversary of the First Lady's Let's Move initiative. It's fighting childhood obesity by promoting healthy eating and exercise while encouraging healthy choices.
Water just surpassed soda as the most commonly consumed beverage in America. Yay, go water. Drink water.
She says the program is showing results.
Children born today will be accustomed to eating healthy food during the school day. So for them, the norm will be fruits and vegetables and not chips and candy.
She says for schools, healthy students are not the only benefit.
Although they're not charging anymore for their lunches, they're actually making more money because more kids are participating in the school lunch programs.
The American Beverage Association, which represents brands like Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper, came out in favor of the new proposed measures. I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Thanks to the First Lady and her healthy ideas, it looks like we're on the right track to a healthier nation. Who knew that being healthy would be trendy? All right, guys, now to the fun stuff. It's no secret that I love fashion. We all wear clothes, so why not make it fashionable? Paris Fashion Week kicked off its epic 9-day extravaganza yesterday as the final leg of the fashion parade. One of the biggest news to come out of the fashion world was the new designer at the classic fashion house and my favorite, Louis Vuitton. Anyone was in attendance, even after being in New York, London, and Milan. Editor and Queen of Vogue Anna Wintour was fresh-faced and front row. It's time now to jet set over to the city of love and the fashion capital, Paris, France.
Paris Fashion Week. It's the last stop on the calendar for the fashion industry elite, who come together twice a year to view the latest collections.
This February and March, there are 93 catwalks, 24 nationalities, and millions of dollars worth of business to be done here in the French capital.
Paris, I think, is unquestionably the granddaddy of all the fashion weeks. While people might be willing to skip New York or skip London or skip Milan, nobody skips Paris Fashion Week because the real heavyweights of the global fashion industry, both commercially and creatively, they come together in Paris, and that's where it's really at.
Fashion and France go together like coffee and croissants. As early as 1868, a trade union was formed to protect French couture and ready-to-wear collections, the first in the world which cemented France's reputation as a fashion leader.
Constitutive Assembly of the 14th of December 1910.
In 1973, the French Fashion Federation followed.
What we are here for is to build and support new brands because you don't dress where your mother did.
There are 30 members of the Federation with total revenues of over $20 billion.
French have this way of expressing this elegance that I think this is why I came here.
Classes are given in pattern cutting, draping and design. Many famous faces learnt to cut their cloth here.
The fashion designer, you have all over the world very talented fashion designers, but what you find in Paris is a is a technique that we try to pass those knowledges through this school.
Here in Paris, there's no danger of French savoir-faire going out of style. Globally, fashion is a $1.5 trillion industry, and France continues to lead the way, safeguarding the valuable skills needed by the next generation of designers.
Paris is definitely a leader in fashion. Maybe next year I'll be front row rubbing elbows with Miss Winter. You never know. Well, that was your Wednesday Trend Update. I'm Dylan Lujano, and you can catch me with all the buzzing headlines. Back to you guys.
If you're ever in Paris, Dylan, I'll come meet you at Fashion Week. An all-female dance group in Irvine has a way for women to feel confident and sexy at any age. Our own Jacqueline Roman has the story.
Shimmies, glitter, and legs, oh my. The all-female dance troupe Atomic Cherry Bombs are Southern California's premier dance and vintage dance group. Inspired by the movements from the 1920s through the 1970s, the Cherry Bombs are a mix of women from ages 20 to 45. Many of the women in the group are new mothers and enjoy the sense of togetherness and empowerment it brings them.
Reminded us that we are not just mommies, but we can also be sexy and perform and have some camaraderie. It's really a lot of feeling of sorority in this group. Everyone is very supportive.
This group of both amateur and professional Lindy Hop swing dancers are based out of Irvine. The dancers find confidence in this form of vintage culture and dance.
So I'm trying to learn how to be graceful and be sexy. Normally I feel like a dork, and I'm a fitness instructor, so I'm in sweatpants and baggy clothes all the time, so this allows me to feel pretty and sexy and confident.
This group was founded 6 years ago by Nikki Marvin and gives dancers of all levels a place to perform and embrace their sexuality.
It's an outlet for women to be creative and get physically fit and work on their own dancing, whether they're, some of these ladies have been dancing their whole life and some only started recently. It's another outlet, it's another place to go with your dancing.
The group will perform at the Yost Theater in Santa Ana on Saturday, April 5th. More information about the group and their upcoming performances can be found on their Facebook page. Any girl can try out. All you gotta do is learn the dance to All I Do Is Dream of You, and you could be a cherry bomb too. Reporting in Irvine, this is Jacqueline Roman for OC News.
That's it for all of us here at OC News. I'm Angeline Serrano.
And I'm Tatiana Coover. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.